And hello, everybody, and very welcome you are indeed today. So, looking at everything that's been going on lately, and being a coach, I figured it was probably about time that I brought on a coach to tell you all about what it is that goes on within the coaching world and why now more than ever, after everything that we have been going through and will continue to go through for some while, why coaching is now really an important part or something to consider as we're all moving forward. And that's for loads of things: your career, your business, your confidence, your self-esteem. There is so much coaching can do for you. And my guest is an award-winning coach, Valerie O'Hanlon. Valerie, thank
Hi,
you.
how are you doing?
Welcome. Yes,
Thank you.
you
Thanks
too.
very much.
And I better remind everybody, because the banner is up, we are using StreamYard. So just let it have access to your profile so we can see your lovely face on your Facebook image. Valerie, sorry about that. Coaching. Now, okay, I'm a coach as well. I'm not an award-winning coach, mind you. You are. So congratulations on that. But
Thanks very much.
looking at everything that we have been coming through and things that are still continuing, like coaching really is a very underrated and underused tool by so many people. They don't consider it.
Mhm. They don't. And you know what? I don't even know if it's that they don't consider it. A lot of people don't even know what it is. So, they can get a little bit confused between, counseling, mentoring, coaching, consulting. What
Yeah.
is it exactly? So I think when people know what coaching is and they either see it as an example of it, maybe a demonstration of it, or they experience it, then they really understand what it's about, and then they realize how it can help them. And it can help them in loads of different ways. And I suppose maybe just to say what that coaching piece is, how it's
Yeah.
different to the other things. So coaching is very much focused on the present and moving you forward to where you want to get to. And it's very action orientated. So we're always looking for how can we, what actually, when you look and see, well, what behavior you want to change, well, then you say, well, what actions do we need to take in order to change that behavior, or that element of the way that you work. So that's the coaching. It's very much though supportive. It's non-directional. So I'm not going to tell you what you should be doing,
Yeah.
because you have probably a mother and a brother and a sister and a husband who'll tell you what to do. But so the coach isn't going to tell you those things. And really,
That's one of the things that I've noticed too, is that, so and that's the question. So what will I do?
yes,
And
yeah, yeah.
actually, and it's kind of surprising. I know with some clients when I'd say, well, actually, no, I'm going to ask you the questions, because the truth is the
Mhm,
client knows it's in them what
mhm.
it is. And it's funny, one of the things that we're, especially when you're training, is saying you get the client to set goals, but actually they may not see what their goal is. It can take a bit of a process to get through that.
Absolutely. And that's a big part of it, is finding out, well, what is your goal? Where is the end point? What is it that we're working towards? So that's why a lot of people get bogged down in achieving things sometimes, because the end goal either seems too far away or too big. So, it's about maybe chunking things down, making them so smaller. And also, coaching doesn't just focus on the doing, the action piece,
Mm-hmm.
which is a big part of it, but also, especially what I try to do and work with clients, is to focus on the feelings and the thoughts that go along with those goals as well. So I think if
Yeah.
you can relate it to a feeling and a thought, well, then that can make it a little bit more um, uh, workable to get to the end goal, because it's the thoughts and the feelings that are really important as well.
Yeah, when you can add in that kind of physical sense of how it is you want to feel, I think definitely that adds in that extra element. But also the other thing with coaching is, because some people would be aware of it, say for business,
Mhm.
and especially there would be a lot of corporates, the bigger organizations might have an in-house coach and things.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
kind of, they're used to it in that sense.
Mhm.
But for things like within the wellness sector, now you do business and career and wellness.
Yes,
So
yeah.
within the wellness side of it, There's
mhm.
the self-esteem, there's the confidence, there's all these things. Now, they have all been hammered over the past few months for so many people.
Confidence is a huge piece for people. And and it's equally as difficult for men as it is for women as well. So, and I think, confidence has been really hammered, both because people have maybe lost their jobs,
Mm-hmm.
or their businesses have closed, or also they're working from home, and you don't have the kind of so there's all these positives about working from home, but there's also the fact that you're there on your own. You've nobody maybe to bounce ideas off, or to say you're doing a great job there, or to get that recognition isn't as forthcoming because you're at home. And so your confidence kind of just, you start questioning yourself a little bit more then.
Yeah,
So the confidence has definitely got a knock, I think, in the last couple of months, and especially for those people who've lost their jobs or their businesses, where, the clients aren't as quick to come anymore. And you think, well, is it me? Or, is it what I'm offering? And you start questioning you. But, and a lot of times, especially in the last couple of months, it's the circumstances, and it's because of the whole pandemic.
that's it. That whole cycle of self-doubt and
Mm,
all that starts to creep in, and nearly
mhm,
every thought you have, well, I was good enough. Am I not good enough anymore?
mhm,
So
mhm,
how would you approach if somebody comes into you and by the way, everybody, you can get in touch with Clarence Consulting,
Sorry,
because
yeah.
that's your practice name. So for
Mhm,
anybody that wants to go online, they can get in touch with you there. But I know myself, somebody comes in thinking it's X that's wrong. And as we not dig, but as we ask the questions and they are probing and you're searching, you can actually discover, actually, no, it's Y that might be the issue. It's not X. How do you approach that then when you're working with someone? Say somebody now, maybe who's lost their job and they're looking for work, or they don't know what to do.
mhm. Well, there's a whole range of things that you're looking for really when somebody comes to you. So I'm listening, and that's a lot of the coaching piece is somebody that will listen to you. So I'm your partner, your listening partner, and I'm listening to what it is that you're saying, and I'm also listening to what you're not saying.
Mm.
So and sometimes even what you're saying, it's the way you say it. So the language that we use about ourselves can be very telling, and we don't notice it ourselves, but when I'm in the room with you, then I'll notice those things and I'll bring that out. So we'll notice what it is that's being said, and we'll bring out the feelings and the thoughts around where they're at. So very much focus on where they're at in that moment, and the things that are their issues, whether it be their confidence or their ability to get clients or things like that. Um, but sometimes you focus on those things, very clear on what kind of outcomes we want to get. Now, that's you spend a lot of time around trying to figure out what is the outcome that is ideal out of the coaching sessions. Um, but really, I was going to say something there, and I kind of lost my train of thought. But the the coaching session and what I notice and what we talk about, um, everything's connected. So it's, though you might come and saying, well, I need to find a new job, but when you go actually and dive into that and delve into it a little bit, it might be that, well, maybe the last job wasn't the right job for them anyway. And maybe they've always hankered to do something different, and maybe to look at this as an opportunity rather than that you're never going to get another job doing what it was that you like doing. So it's really kind of focusing in on what it means to them, what it is that they want. You're focusing on bringing out the good points. So especially, around if it's career, or if it's, about providing a service, it's about bringing out, well, what were the good points about that? What did you enjoy about it? What did you like about it? What would you like to recreate in whether it's a future job or a future career? So you're focusing in
Yeah.
on those kind of things.
And I have to say personally myself now, I'd be one of those people that would feel things very physically.
Mm,
You know what I mean? I am one of those gut people, and I
mm,
could just
mm,
sense it in my gut. And that's
mm,
even for things with myself. Like if you were my coach and I was sitting with you, I'd be talking about sensations and feelings, because
mm,
some
mhm,
people, and actually, even as a coach, sometimes when I'm trying to describe my own sensations and feelings, I can't find the
mhm,
words, because
mhm.
sensations and feelings can be so hard to put into words. Do you know what I mean? When you're
Yes, they
actually with
can.
someone.
And
So
sometimes we don't notice those things. So that's like some people are very in tune with their body and in tune with the feelings that they have and the sensations that they're having. But sometimes you say that to a client and they don't know what you're talking about. I say, well, where do you feel? They might say, I'm angry about something. I say, well, where is that anger? How's it demonstrating in your
yeah,
body? How's it showing up for you? And they don't really know. But actually, once give them a sense of what it is that you're talking about, all of a sudden that can be an opening of a floodgate for them,
yeah,
and that they're really more aware. And that's a huge part of coaching as well, is bringing out that self-awareness piece. So noticing how you are, noticing what you're feeling, noticing what your breathing is like, noticing what those sensations are in your body, and to listen to your gut. So we all listen to our head. We listen to our head too much,
yes,
and what it's telling us, and that little voice, that little gremlin in our head, screaming at us to do things,
the
and
chimp.
why don't you do this, and this is what you should be doing. So there's all that going on in our head, but actually if we silenced that for a moment and actually listened to the thoughts, or to the feelings, and to the senses, and to the gut, then you might be able to hear something else rather than hear what that little voice in your head is saying.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's what I have found is, gosh, I keep using that expression, what I have found, but but
Okay.
it's the only, yeah, it's when you have some, and as you say, and you're explaining, and you're saying, well, where do you feel it or whatever, and they're to kind of look at you blankly, because like that, it is a new experience for somebody to feel something like that. And that in itself, that can get quite emotional.
Yes. Yeah. 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 It can be very emotional. I mean, well, in the days of meeting people face to face, I'd always have
Yeah.
a packet of tissues with me just in case. But Um, and well, you have to be very careful as well as a coach, because I'm not a counselor, and I'm not any kind of clinician. So, you have to be
Yes.
very ask permission to be able to go to those places, to ask
Mm.
those kind of questions, and to bring those feelings out. So that's really a key piece as well of being a coach. But yes, it can get quite emotional, because and I've had clients, that have come into me. They've come in for one thing, and all of a sudden we're talking about something completely different, because
Yeah.
the floodgates have been opened by just sometimes it can be just a simple question. So
Mm.
um I remember asking a client, or the client said, he didn't have any um uh, high points, that everything seemed to he seemed to always focus on the down points in his career when things went wrong, and they seemed to be more noticeable than the high points. And I said, well, can you give me a high point? I can't remember exactly but I said, well, let's look at the high points, and just lost it, because couldn't think, couldn't feel any high points in what it was, but yet there was loads there. But it was that kind of feeling that it was just all one or the other, and
Yeah,
to
it's that
bring
habit.
that, yeah, to bring that out. That it is and that's what we look for as well. We look for patterns. We look for the habits and the habits that we don't want to continue. So, um, that's what the coach does as well. It helps you to see those things. So, kind of nearly I always say that as well. It's like holding up a mirror, and you
Mm.
can see then, with holding up a mirror with a new set of eyes, that you see things a lot differently. And just one
Yeah.
thing that
And
you said as well about the senses
yeah,
and things, and your sensations, you do find that as well sometimes in the session, that you start feeling it, you know
yeah, yeah,
and so you do say those things to your client as well. Well, gosh, I'm feeling
yeah,
that kind of tenseness or something, and I'm feeling something in my gut. And what could that be? Or are you feeling it too? What are you feeling? So I would always offer that as well as what I'm feeling in the session. with regard to what the client is saying as well.
And from moving forward now, though, I think coaching is probably going to start featuring a lot more, I think,
I hope
moving
so.
forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
hope
funny,
so.
I was reading just something there earlier actually, and they were talking about it because sometimes you say you're a coach and they say, oh, what sport or
Yeah, I
something,
know.
so, and I'm the most unsporty person you're going to find. But there is a guy who wrote a book called Tim Galloway, and I don't know if you're familiar with him. He wrote The Inner Game,
Yes,
and
I
it
have it.
was about I think tennis was his main sport.
Yes.
So, but you know, the person that was talking about it was saying that when you look at all the sports people, all the top sports people, they've all got their own. It's not just teams that have coaches. So all the top sports people, your Corey Carringtons or your Conor McGregor's or
Yeah.
whoever it is, they've all got their own personal coach that will help them with their performance. And really, why shouldn't it be the same for everybody else? We all want to reach our potential, whether it's work or life or sport or careers. So why shouldn't we all have our own personal coach? And I think, what I really, I suppose I feel strongly about is sharing what coaching is about with people so
Mm.
that more people will access it and more
Yeah.
people
And you
will
see, this is the
benefit
thing.
from
So I'm the same. And I could have just done a broadcast with just me talking about coaching.
it.
But then people go, ah, yeah, right. That's because that's what she does. But it's
Yes.
really important for people to hear from another coach
Mm-hmm.
to see how it works, to see the benefits behind it and everything, because
Mm-hmm.
it is something I am really passionate about. And
Mm-hmm.
like you, I've had such a wide and varied background and career that both of us actually bring, all of that into the mix as well to
Mm-hmm.
be able to help our clients. And
Yes.
that's what it's about. It's not about us. It's about moving them from where they are to where it is they want to
Mm-hmm.
be. As I say,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's in the wellness area or like that, you do the career and the CV side of things as well, and in the business coaching too.
Mm-hmm.
Is there
Yeah.
have you noticed, just thinking off the top of my head, within the wellness side of things, have
Mm-hmm.
you noticed an increase there or even more inquiries about coaching within that
Yeah.
area
Yeah.
lately?
I mean, I have to say there's been a steady stream all through the lockdown of people looking for coaching. And it comes, people would say they're coming because it's for career, but actually it turns out it's about their confidence. And that confidence then, once that's unlocked, it's confidence in life as well as career. And that then feeds into that wellness piece.
Yeah.
So, because you have more confidence to go do things. Like I could give numerous examples of people who've come to me, about wanting to manage their life differently or manage their career differently. And all of a sudden they're out walking, they've signed up for a new course in something, or they've taken up yoga, or they're eating
Oh,
more
we're all
healthily.
yoga mad now.
Yeah. But it's like kind of, this, it has a knock-on effect on your whole life, because all of a sudden now you're seeing everything from a different viewpoint. And so you've a better understanding of what motivates you, what gets you going, what how to achieve your goals, and the things that your strengths. It's really focusing on what works for you, and then you're able to apply that not just to job or career or business, but also to your personal life as well. And all of a sudden, it has that knock-on effect with the wellness side of things then as well. And I think, we mentioned there earlier, you said about, working with people that are in menopause and things like that. So you, I do get a lot of women in that kind of age range where things begin to change. So
Oh, they do.
it's not just, yeah, but it's not just in their bodies then. That has the effect of, well, actually, maybe I want to do something else. Maybe I don't have to, sit at home, or maybe I can go and do this, or I can go and do that. And,
That's it.
it's about, that's, I mean, that's another key part of the coaching piece, is to take responsibility for yourself. And now all of a sudden they kind of look at it differently by saying, well, actually, I do have control over what's happening to me or where I'm going or what I'm doing. And that has a huge mental health wellness kind of piece to it then
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah. But
it's like a
definitely,
responsibility for your own actions. People, you know, we drift a lot, I find. We do tend to drift. And it's just the way of life. Sometimes you get caught up with kids, or you get caught up with work, or you get caught up with looking after, elderly parents or things like that. And you think, where's the space and time for me? But, once you hold that mirror up and you start asking the questions, they start taking responsibility for who they are, and what they can do. And then the world's their oyster then.
yeah, and actually, and part of that, because funny, I was writing something earlier on, and one of the things that came to mind was not to be afraid to ask yourself those questions. Well, what am I doing now? Why am I at now? Particularly, as I say, where I'm working with women in menopause,
Yes.
it there's nothing wrong with asking yourself these questions, and there's nothing wrong with stepping outside of that and looking at
Mhm.
yourself and saying, hang on a second,
Mhm.
I have actually paid my dues, and there is a time for me now, and I would
Mhm.
like to do XYZ. So
Mhm.
how can I start doing it and actually rediscovering myself, coming back to me, and
Mhm.
starting to flourish again? Because when you think of it, in Chinese medicine, it's called second spring.
Mhm. There
That's
you
what they
go.
call it. And I mean, there's a very good reason for that,
Mhm. Mhm.
you
Absolutely.
know?
I mean, I always think of my own mother, and I think, her life being on at 50, I always say, because she started running, she learned how to drive, she, did loads of things, and her kids were all grown up at that stage. So, you do start, you can, we're going to be here for a long way after 50, like
Yes,
we could be here for another 20 or 30 years. So with a bit of luck. So, that's a long time to be, doing something that maybe you don't like doing, or just grinning and bearing a particular job or a particular career. So take control of what it is that you want, and ask yourself, as you said, ask yourself those questions.
absolutely. Well, I think, yes, ask yourself those questions is a great note to finish
Mhm.
this interview on. And don't forget, everybody, I did highlight the website there. You can get in touch with Valerie at clarenceconsulting.ie. And if Valerie is full, or she can pass on any
Mhm.
details, maybe you want to go to someone closer or whatever,
Can, can I do a
Valerie's,
little? Can I
yes.
do a little plug for a volunteer piece? And I am on the other coaches set up a website called Connect to Coach. I think it's
Oh,
called
that's right. I'm sorry. My
connecttocoach.org.
apologies.
So yeah, no, so just to throw it out there in case there's anybody. So it's a free coaching for
I'm going to put that
frontline.
in now.
Yeah, frontline, and I'm not sure if it's .com or .org, but it's Connect to Coach anyway. If you search Connect to Coach, it'll come up. But it's free coaching for frontline and emergency workers, and it's accessible on that website, Connect to Coach, and you get 4 free sessions with a I think it might be .org. I should here if you
There's
bear
no
with
problem.
me.
Well, what I can do is
Yes,
I'll
it
put it
is
into the
connecttocoach.org. Sorry, connecttocoach.org.
.org. We shall put
Dot
that in
org. But
now.
it's
I am
free coaching for emergency and frontline staff, and all the coaches are giving their time for free, and it's been
sorry.
we've had over 150 um, clients have accessed it over the last 6 months. So, and they've found it very beneficial. So, if there is any emergency workers watching or frontline workers, then that's something that they could benefit from.
Absolutely. And mea culpa, I completely forgot about the Connected Coach. And funnily, I had been reading on it and looking at it
Yeah.
myself.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic setup. And especially, as you say, for the frontline workers, because
Mhm.
of, I suppose, of everybody going through, well, you can't weigh it up, but they are
No.
frontline. They are seeing it face on,
Mhm.
the cold face, cold light of day there and then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, brilliant. So if you know any frontline workers who maybe would like to just get a bit of a lift up, a bit of assistance from a coach, it's amazing what can happen in 4 sessions. Um, get them onto connecttocoach.org. Valerie, thank you so much for joining
You're
me
welcome.
today.
Thanks so much for asking me. I'm
Um,
delighted
oh
to
no,
be
it's
involved. Thank
brilliant.
you.
I'm absolutely delighted now to finally get to chat to you from LinkedIn connections and conversations and whatnot. It's great.
Yeah.
And it's great to know that you are doing so well and that you are busy, which is brilliant. So I look forward to chatting to you soon. And if anybody has missed any of the links during the broadcast, they will be popped into the comments underneath. So cheerio for now. Bye-bye.
Great. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.